Something only I would understand for today. Once again, it's not something that only I would understand, but it's how my brain gets there. I was having a really good conversation with Tony and Will, shout out to them, Real Big 3 podcast, about is AI a top 25 player all time? I guess Jay Adonde and Bill Simmons on the Ringer podcast were talking about is he a top 25, and they're naming off guys they thought were better than him or where AI truly ranked. And then Will and Tony and I got into a conversation about skill. And Will asked, and we're all three really big AI fans here, so let's just put that out there. Will asked, is AI a top 10, or how skilled is AI, and where do you rank him? And I said AI is one of the 10 I'd argue he's one of the 10 most skilled players ever. Now, he does not have one of the top 10 resumes, but his level of skill, plus the fact of he's an icon and a cult hero, AI status is elevated, obviously. And Will said, well, I don't know if I'm putting him top 10 in skill. And now the three of us all agree Hakeem Olajuwon is top 10 in skill, just if you look at his footwork and his post moves. And I think AI is really similar to Hakeem in terms of level of skill. Hakeem's just a 7-footer and AI is 6 feet. And calling AI 6 feet is generous. And then we'll continue to basically repeat. And once again, we all love AI. There's no AI disrespect, no slander. But Will repeated saying, I don't know if AI is top 10 in skill. And I was having a really hard time with this. Trying to think, like, well, how do you not think AI is top 10 in skill? And then I remembered, I was like, oh, I think I get it now. Because Steph Curry exists, we value a certain skill above all else. We value shooting the basketball. We do. Steph came in and shot the basketball at such a high and prolific clip like we've never seen before that we've changed the way we view shooting as a skill. Now, I've come on here several times and said the game follows its best players and the trends of its best players. When Kareem was the best player in the league, you had to have a big man because Kareem dictated how the games went. Magic came in, everybody wanted a big point guard. Bird came in, you wanted a guy who could shoot threes and still score. Mike came in, you wanted that elite wing 2 guard. Same kind of thing with Kobe, same kind of thing with Shaq, same kind of thing with LeBron. I've talked about it before on the Real Big 3 podcast. We get a lot of comparisons to Kevin Durant. Why? Because Kevin Durant's one of the best players in the league. Kevin Durant's one of the best players of all time. Of course you're going to make comparisons to him. Because unless you're on some draft website and you need to figure out a comparison or most likely this guy's going to be, and you're in the 5th round and it's the 27th pick of the 5th round and you're like, all right, well, I think this guy might be, and you pick a so-so player. But skill is not just how well you shoot. Skill is not just how well you handle. Scoring is a skill. AI is the best scorer ever in the history of the game, 6 feet or under. Who do you know could lead the league in scoring at 6 feet or under? There's only one answer, it's Allen Iverson. Skill, while Steph revolutionized how we look at threes, we didn't even consider shooting the best skill 10 to 15 years ago. 10 to 15 years ago, Charles Barkley has the famous quotes, you can't win a championship shooting threes, because we did not think that it was a consistent enough skill to be replicated that it was worthy of being highest on our skill list. Rebounds. I don't consider rebounding a great skill, but LeBron, as a forward/guard, rebounds at such a high clip, we give it to him as a skill. LeBron's passing. Outside of Magic and maybe John Stockton and Nash, who do we give the credit of passing that high level of skill as LeBron? We love all these 6'10", 6'11", the centers, power forwards, and even some small forwards who can shoot threes like crazy, and we're like, oh, they're so skilled. Is that really a skill? Or is that shooting is a skill, but is that really a skill that we should just automatically put above all else? Scoring is a skill. AI was great at scoring. And scoring is not just how well you shoot. Scoring is, can I get to my spots on the floor? Can I beat my man one-on-one? Can I beat him off the dribble? Can I be in the right positioning? And obviously you're gonna have outliers. You could argue, and I wouldn't argue against you. Was Shaq scoring a true skill? No, Shaq was just big as shit and he could dunk on everybody. But LeBron gets 5 or 6 dunks a game, and we still consider him scoring with almost 30 points a game a skill.